Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to talk about how I got my eyelashes to look so long without using any lash extensions. And I'm just showing y'all what time I'm starting this video because I'm going to show you what time I end this video and how quickly you can get this look accomplished. Once I pop on my primer, then I go in with my all over face pen by MAC in the shade NW51. This foundation is matte, and y'all know I love a matte look. I typically do not put my foundation in the center portion of my face because I don't like a heavy layer of makeup on my face. And this, to me, leaves a light layer of makeup. Then I'm going to go in with my NW51, which is my concealer by MAC as well. I choose this one because I like the way that it blends in with the NW55, the MAC all over face pen. The formula just meshes very well. If you have a combination that you love, I would say stick to it and use it because it works. This is just simply foundation and concealer, okay? And next up on my list is going to be to go ahead and define my brows. And what y'all see me using here is going to be precisely my brow. I use the shade 4.5. Y'all also see me interchange this with the MAC stud, the color stud. You can use a pencil from the hair store. It really does not matter. The one thing I'm going to tell you is to always make sure that the shade matches your brow color and also make sure that it's sharp. That's it. And then you just take those small little strokes and you define your brows. If you have microblading, micro shading like I have, just make sure that you don't have moisturizer or any type of product on your skin, because then it's going to be hard for you to actually, draw on top of any type of moisturized skin. So you can put a little light layer of setting powder on top of your brows before you begin. And then boom, you go ahead and start, defining your brows. Now, after I get the right brow definition, then I'm going to jump in. I'm going to go ahead with my NW51, the same shade that I'm using on my face because I want everything to look seamless. And I'm going to take my angle brush by Morphe. You can use whatever brush you want to use, y'all. Remember, if you like to use a flat brush, use it. If you like to use a fat brush, use it. The thing about this is, whatever you do, just make sure your hand is steady and make sure you take small strokes if you're just beginning this process. That's the only thing I'm going to tell you about this. And then you just define your brows. Wherever you just use your pencil, you go up under the bottom. You take it and you go up on the top. You can choose to use your foundation shade on top if you want to. Or you can do like I did and you could use the same shade of concealer on the top. I like to do it that way because I like for mine to be more pronounced. If you, like they say, you want to get the halo eye, give me the halo eye. I prefer it that way. But it is all about your personal style of makeup and how you want to do your brows. Because for me, baby, I'm going to make them pop. Okay. And baby, another tip, if you want to get your brows to pop, is you can use 2 different shades of concealer under your brow, right? You could use a lighter shade at the front, a darker shade at the tail wing of it, blend it out, and then boom, honey, it just gives you like the perfect gradient. Oh my God, that looks so pretty. Go back and check out some of my older videos. I used to do that a whole bunch. I typically don't do it right now because, child, please, I be trying to get up and go to work, and it be early in the morning, as you can see, 4 o'clock in the morning. And I got time for that. We got to get up out the door, okay? And last but not least is to know what type of concealer that you're working with, whether you're using a matte or radiant finish. Because if you're going to do something like a cut crease, you really want to use a matte concealer. I still like to use a more matte concealer. It helps when you're getting ready to put your eyeshadows on top of your concealer. So just be mindful. And then we'll move on. If you watch any of my other previous videos, baby, y'all already know what the deal is. You take a damp beauty blender and you blend out your concealer. You want to try to keep the integrity of where it is on your face because you don't want to blend everything away. You want to keep the product there. That's the reason why we put it on, right? Because we want it to be seen. We don't want to blend it away so you can't see it. But when I get ready to go to work, I really don't like a full glam coverage, just full coverage. So I wanted to cover something, just not everything, if that makes sense. What I want you to notice is while I'm blending this out, I start at the edges first. And then I keep my beauty blender and I use the same side of my beauty blender. I don't turn it around, switching and using different sides because when I get ready to do my setting powder, I am going to flip it. So I like to keep the product on the same side in case I need to go back and reuse that again. I know which side is for which. That makes sense? Let me know in the comments if that makes sense to you. Let's touch bases on a few things about setting powder. One is to make sure you're using the right shade of setting powder. I had a battle with trying to figure out which setting powder was the right shade for me. I always picked up setting powders that were too light for what I was trying to accomplish. I know some people like that highlighted under eye look. I typically don't like that unless I'm going for a high glam look, not my everyday look. And this is an everyday look. Another thing is I do like the way that my setting powder comes off when I use my damp sponge versus me using my triangle puff. So I will say try different ways of putting it on. Not only try different ways of putting it on, but make sure you dab off the excess so that you don't have too much powder up under your eye when you putting your setting powder on. That creates roll up and it really doesn't look all that nice and it peels off your concealer. So let's not do that. After I got done blending out my concealer, y'all, I went in with my About Face eye paint. This is the easiest eye paint I've ever used and it dries down matte. So remember what I was telling y'all about my concealer being matte? This is that for me. So that's why I was able to go back over using my bronzer palette and just create the eyeshadow look that I wanted to create, because my base that I'm using right here. How many of y'all have used Rare Beauty's blush? Well, as you guys know, this compares to Rare Beauty and I've used Rare Beauty as well as this. I like them both. It just depends on what color I'm going with. And today I chose orange and that's what this is. And I'm using my Real Techniques brush to blend it all out first. And then I'm going to go right on top of that with my Sephora highlighter blush. And yes, I did say that correctly because the highlighter and the blush are blended together. But the only thing that I would tell you to do differently than what I did here is not use the RT 200, but to use the RT 400. It's a fluffier brush that in my opinion is just meant for blush and that just applies it seamlessly. So use that one instead of the RT 200 and you'll get it right the first time. And if you use the RT 400 brush, you won't have to do this step, which is to apply your setting powder on top of the blush because you put too much on your face. This is just a correction. Now I'm going to go on with my Sephora Micro Smooth because I do like to put this on my face in those areas that I put the foundation before I go in with my bronzer, because then it doesn't give me a patchy look when I do apply my bronzer. To bronze or to contour, that is the question. I did not contour in this video because you did not see me put on any type of cream bronzer, which you know my favorite is by LYS. However, you do see me putting on my bronzer, and I love my Morphe AR palette. And it is my opinion that if I choose to bronze, then that means I want to go with a more high glam look. I'm going to work, so I don't want to be all high glammy. I just want to keep it real natural. Baseline, you know what I'm saying? Now, this is the reason why you all clicked on this video, to learn how I get my lashes to look so long without using lash extensions. First and foremost is I do curl my lashes. I curled them before I started this video. Second is I use a eyelash primer, baby. And the primer that I'm using is by Maybelline Sky-high. And then I use my first mascara. I was going to say my second mascara, but my first mascara, it is also by Maybelline. It is Falsies Lash Lift. This one in particular you must use because I did try to replace it with Hourglass. It did not work the same. And then third, you must use MAC Magic extensions because these have 4mm fibers in the mascara that adhere to your lashes and just gives you that most defined eyelash look. I'm telling you now, this is the combination that you've been waiting for. Look at it. I'm telling you. Boop, boop, boop. You're not going to find it nowhere else. And this is without any type of eyeliner on that eye, baby. Yes, I decided to do the eyeliner afterwards so that you can see just how that mascara does my eyes. Two things that I like about this pencil is one is a Cocoa Jaw pencil, means it is the darkest on the market. And then two, it is the safest for your eyes. Okay, so all my contact wearers, you got it. It's safe. Right here, you just want to grab a blending brush. I'm grabbing my MAC 214 blending brush, and then I'm going to dip it into my bronzing palette. Same bronzer that I use on the perimeter of my face. I'm using it on my eyes, and I'm going to darken the outer edge of my eyes. That's it. I just want a little bit more depth to my eyes. Now, I could have done this before I put on my mascara, but I wanted you guys to truly see how the mascara showed up without anything on my eyes. Then, last but not least, we got one more product, but going in with my Golden Goddess. If you haven't heard me describe this on my signature look or on my all natural look, baby, you're missing out. Ofra did a wonderful job with this highlighter. I'm telling you now, this is something you should have in your makeup collection because it works. The product is very impactful, comes off very easy, shows up on our pretty brown skin, just like, wow, chef's kiss, okay? I'm double highlighting. Yes, I am. Now it's time to get wet. As we said, I'm going in with my matte setting spray because Why? Y'all know I love to be matte. That's why. And I'm going, this is by NYX. Y'all can use whatever setting spray you already have because this is based off of your personal preference. And I like to make it hurry up and dry down. So I do use my beauty blender or brush sometimes to, speed up that process. And then I'm going in with the last product, which is lip gloss, y'all. I went very simple today. Lip gloss. No lip liner, nothing else. This is a lip plumping lip gloss, and I did pick this up during the Ulta sale. They just had so many on sale, so I just said, let me try it. Why not? All right, y'all. I gotta get out of here. Let me show you the time, and we gonna roll.